A 6-year-old girl who hadn't spoken a single word in 2 years suddenly broke her silence. But what she said made everyone in the room freeze. She looked at the woman standing in front of her, tears streaming down both their faces, and asked one devastating question. "Who hurt you, Mama?" This is the story of how that moment changed 3 broken lives forever. Stay with me, because what happens next will restore your faith in second chances. Welcome to the story room. While you are here, please hit the subscribe button and comment your view on the story and where you're watching from. Section 1. The beginning. Let me tell you a story about second chances. About how sometimes the most broken people find each other and create something beautiful. Sarah lived in a small coastal town in Maine. She stood by the window of the big beach house, watching the ocean waves crash against the rocks. Her hands trembled slightly as she folded the clean towels. If you looked closely, you could see the faint marks on her wrists. She always wore long sleeves now, even though summer was here. She had been working as a cook and caretaker for the Bennett family for 3 months. It was honest work, the kind she desperately needed after finally leaving her husband. The pay was good, and Mr. Bennett treated her with respect. He was a marine biologist who ran a research center nearby. He never yelled, never made her feel worthless like she used to feel. But something about this house broke her heart every single day. His daughter, little Lily, was only 6 years old. She had golden hair and the saddest green eyes Sarah had ever seen. Every afternoon, Lily would sit quietly at the kitchen table, watching Sarah cook. The child never spoke, never made a sound. On Sarah's first day, Mr. Bennett had explained everything. His voice was soft but heavy with grief. He told her that Lily hadn't spoken a single word since her mother drowned 2 years ago. The doctors found nothing wrong physically. Lily simply chose silence. Sarah understood that silence. She had lived in it for years, afraid to speak up, afraid to ask for help. Now, watching this little girl carry such pain, Sarah felt a connection she couldn't quite explain. Days turned into weeks, and a quiet bond began to form between them. Every afternoon, Lily would bring her sketchbook to the kitchen. She drew the ocean, the seabirds, the sunset. Beautiful pictures that showed what her voice couldn't say. Sarah would smile and tell her how talented she was, how proud she should be. Lily never responded, but sometimes she would look up at Sarah with those deep eyes, and Sarah could see understanding there. One evening, while preparing dinner, Sarah was cutting vegetables. Her mind wandered to darker memories, and the knife slipped. She gasped as blood appeared on her finger, bright red against her brown skin. Before she could react, Lily was there. The small child climbed down from her chair and gently took Sarah's hand. She led her to the sink and turned on the cool water, guiding Sarah's injured finger beneath it. Sarah's heart melted. She looked down at this precious child trying to help her. Her voice cracked with emotion as she spoke to Lily, telling her it was okay, just a small cut. Then the words slipped out before she could stop them, words she never meant to say out loud. She whispered that she'd had much worse than a small cut. Lily looked up at her, then really looked at her. Those intelligent green eyes moved from Sarah's face down to her arms. Sarah's sleeves had pushed up, revealing the edges of old bruises, yellow and purple marks that told a story Sarah wanted to forget. Sarah quickly pulled her sleeves down, her face flushing with shame. But it was too late. Lily had seen, and something changed in the child's expression, something knowing and protective. Mr. Bennett walked into the kitchen moments later. He noticed immediately how close Lily stood to Sarah, how the child watched her with unusual intensity. He saw Sarah's nervous gesture with her sleeves. And though he said nothing then, Sarah felt his concerned gaze. The weeks passed, and something beautiful was growing in that house by the sea. Lily began following Sarah everywhere. When Sarah cleaned the windows, Lily would stand beside her with a small cloth, trying to help. When Sarah hung laundry on the line, Lily would hand her clothespins one by one. They worked in comfortable silence, 2 souls who understood pain. One quiet afternoon, while folding sheets, Sarah began to hum. It was an old song her grandmother taught her, about hope and new beginnings. About how the darkest night always ends with morning light. Lily stopped what she was doing. She came and stood right beside Sarah, so close their shoulders touched. Sarah kept humming, and she spoke softly to the child. She told her about her grandmother, about the wisdom in that old song. Then Lily did something unexpected. She reached up and took Sarah's hand. Just held it. Her small fingers wrapped around Sarah's larger ones, squeezing gently. Sarah felt tears fill her eyes, but these were different tears. These were tears of connection, of being seen, of mattering to someone. That's when everything shattered. It was a Thursday evening when the phone rang. Sarah answered it while washing dishes, and her entire world stopped. The voice on the other end made her blood run cold. Her ex-husband. Somehow, after months of hiding, he had found her. His voice came through the phone like poison. Threatening. Possessive. Telling her she belonged to him. That divorce papers meant nothing. That he was coming to take her back. His words struck her like physical blows, bringing back all the fear she thought she'd escaped. When the call ended, Sarah stood frozen. The phone slipped from her shaking hand. Tears streamed down her face. Her breathing came in short, panicked gasps. She didn't hear Mr. Bennet enter the kitchen. Didn't know he'd been standing there, witnessing her fear. His voice was gentle when he spoke her name. Sarah turned, mortified that he'd seen her like this. She apologized frantically, saying she should leave, that she shouldn't bring her problems into his home. She reached for her bag, ready to run again. But Mr. Bennet's voice was firm. He asked her to wait, to talk to him, to tell him what was happening. Before Sarah could answer, she felt something. A small hand slipping into hers. Lily was there, looking up at her with those knowing green eyes. And then, slowly, deliberately, the child reached up and touched Sarah's arm. Right where the bruises were hidden. Right where the pain lived. And then the miracle happened. In that quiet kitchen, with the evening sun painting everything gold, Lily spoke. Her voice was small and rusty from 2 years of silence, but clear as church bells on Sunday morning. She asked a simple question, just 4 words. But those 4 words changed everything. Lily looked up at Sarah and asked who had heard her mama. Mama. This beautiful child, who hadn't spoken in 2 years, called Sarah Mama. The word crashed into Sarah's chest like a wave, knocking the breath from her lungs. Mr. Bennet's face went pale. He looked at his daughter in shock, then at Sarah, and understanding flooded across his features. He whispered his daughter's name, hardly believing what he'd heard. But Lily wasn't finished. She turned to her father, still holding Sarah's hand tightly. Her voice grew stronger. She told her daddy not to let anyone hurt Mama again. Not ever again. Sarah fell to her knees and pulled the child into her arms. She wept openly, holding Lily close. Everything she'd been holding inside poured out. Relief and fear and gratitude and love, all mixed together. Mr. Bennet knelt beside them both. His own voice was thick with emotion as he made a promise. He looked at his daughter, then at Sarah, and he said the words they both needed to hear. No one would hurt her. He would make sure of it. He promised them both. That night, after Lily finally fell asleep, Sarah and Mr. Bennet sat together in the living room. Sarah told him everything. About her marriage and the years of abuse. About finding the courage to leave and the constant fear of being found. She spoke about shame and survival, about feeling worthless and broken. Mr. Bennet listened without judgment, without pity. He simply listened with compassion and understanding. When she finished, he spoke with quiet certainty. He told her she was safe here, that tomorrow they would see his lawyer. They would get legal protection. Then he said something that made Sarah's heart swell. He told her she wasn't just the cook anymore. That Lily had spoken for the first time in 2 years because of her. Because Lily loved her. Because Lily saw her as a mother. Sarah finished his thought softly. She said she understood. Mr. Bennet nodded. They sat in silence for a long moment, 2 people who had both known loss. Sarah spoke quietly into that silence. She said that Lily had lost her mother, and Sarah had lost the child she never had. Maybe, she suggested, they had all found each other for a reason. Mr. Bennet smiled. It was the first genuine smile Sarah had seen from him. He agreed. Maybe they had all found each other exactly when they needed to. The months that followed brought healing. Real healing. Mr. Bennet kept every promise. Legal protection was put in place. Security measures were established. For the first time in years, Sarah felt truly safe. Lily spoke more each day. Simple words became sentences. She called Sarah Mama naturally now, and Sarah had stopped correcting her. It felt right. It felt like truth. And Mr. Bennet had become more than an employer. He'd become a friend, a protector. Someone who saw Sarah's worth and dignity. Someone who made her believe in good men again. One evening, the three of them sat together at dinner. Just a simple meal, but it felt sacred somehow. Lily looked up from her plate with bright eyes. She asked her daddy a question. She asked if Sarah could stay forever. Stay with them always. Mr. Bennet looked at Sarah. She looked back. In his eyes, she saw something tender and hopeful. Something that spoke of new beginnings. His voice was soft when he answered his daughter. He said he would like that very much. If Sarah wanted it too. Sarah felt her heart overflow. She looked at Lily's sweet, hopeful face. Then at Mr. Bennet, at the kindness and strength she saw there. Her voice was barely a whisper when she answered. Yes. She would like that very much. Lily smiled. A real, genuine, beautiful smile that lit up the whole room. And in that moment, sitting in that beach house with the sound of waves outside, Sarah understood something profound. Sometimes families aren't born from blood. Sometimes they're built piece by piece, with patience and kindness and love. Sometimes broken people find each other in the darkness. And in the finding, in the holding on, they help each other become whole again. This is a story about second chances. About how the most shattered hearts can heal. About how a woman escaping violence, a grieving man, and a silent child became exactly what each other needed. A family, built from broken pieces. Made beautiful through love.